Jamie here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Wednesday, April 30th, last day of April 327. Really quick rant here. Going to talk quick about a market, some names I'm looking at. Go from there. S&P still in the red, down 0.8%. Actually off the highs, bounced at about 2 o'clock. Look like heck, we might go red to green and then just chopping around here. Just pretty crazy day. And this data this morning, I always try and put in the perspective of what would I have thought the market would have done if I'd known the data on like Monday. And I'm like, what would be bad, right? Down 2, 3, 4, maybe even more percent. And today was like an opportunity for the bears to kind of reclaim control and push the markets. And they did at the open, but then support came in right around 540 on the SPY, which we hit about 10 o'clock, and then that was the bottom. And boom, it's been melted to highs at 2 o'clock and then been chopping around ever since. So I don't know if we're out of the woods just yet. I keep saying I'm open to both sides of the trade, so I'll continue to look for opportunities on both sides. It's surprising, right? I mean, we're still in an environment where we can wake up tomorrow and be a gap down 3%, or we can be gap up 3%. And now, I tried to spin this morning a little positive. The positive you take out of this morning was that I think it kind of expedites the trade deals, right? So you already had reports that U.S. was reaching out to China. You just got to think something's going to happen. And if I was a betting person, and I'm not going to bet on it, but I would think there's going to be a pause on the China tariffs. I would think there's a deal before the week is out or over the weekend. That would be my. I would say that probability has increased substantially with the GDP read. It's just funny, you try and make jokes and be sarcastic because that humor, things like that help me get through the day. Sometimes from boring chop, and sometimes for horrible days, right? But you make fun enough fun, but to hear some of the comments from like Navarro saying this was the best negative GDP read he's seen in his lifetime. It's like telling someone who's feel bad for them, but if someone's ugly and you say you're the most beautiful ugly person I've ever seen, that's kind of like what it is. Like it's bad, wherever you spin it. An economy that has negative GDP growth is not a good economy, right? I mean, so however you want to spin the imports, the whatever data, or all these other things, it's just if it's red, it's red. It's not a beautiful or ugly red. It's just the facts, right? So it kind of just stokes humor. It's like just trying to spin it. So, to me, hopefully it expedites some of these trade deals. Things get worked out, alleviates some of the concerns and uncertainty. And earnings continue to be strong. So, as long as you has to happen pretty soon here. So good sign here today that we markets held. Great opportunity for the bears to take control. I'm not saying they can't find another opportunity tomorrow or Friday, but if we can hold up here, maybe we avert disaster, get some deals done, and the market at least can find some footing. But also, I mean, on the other side of the fence here is that now we're on the cusp of possibly we are in a recession, right? So another quarter of, well, if the GDP number is not revised up in the next two reads, because this is the first revision of the GDP, so you get two more cracks to the apple. Maybe it goes positive. That'd be good. And that's that. And then I talked about the historicals, right? So May, you always have the mantra, right? Sell in May and go away. And then you take a look, and it's from Ryan Dietrich on FinTwit. It should be called maybe sell in June and go away, right? The last 10 years, only one of those are red, 2019, down 6%. That's a pretty big deal. But then the rest all been green on average, almost a percent gain. So at least something to look forward to there. And then also look at a candle on the SPY. I mean, we've had some wild ranges over the last couple weeks, so we're kind of used to it. It stinks, but decent sized candle. The VIX is up 6%, all things considered, right down to 25. You can, constructive, right? It just, unfortunately, I'm waiting for an environment where you can get long some names that you think there might be opportunities, right? Fundamentals, growth, great story, but it's tough to do that. And because of that, I miss out on some of the trades I normally probably would have maybe taken a nibble on. So I'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, so after the close today, got Meta, Microsoft. I did the updated moves. If there was a trade I would take, it's maybe on Meta. But then you go look, it's at 540. What's the trade? 550, I think, 540. And the 600 strikes are like $3, right? So, I mean, you're talking 12% out of money. Did I pull it up here? I don't think I did, right? Did I pull it up? Well, I think I posted the implied move. Yeah, the 600 strikes are $3 and the stock's at 540. So, I mean, it's a little less than 12% move to get those into money. Obviously, if it opens at 575, 580 tomorrow, those will be solidly green. But to me, that's not the type of risk reward. Me, I'm looking for multiple contracts at like 40 or 50 cents. You have to go all the way up to 650, right? So you're talking 20% out of the money. Wouldn't rule that out, but all things considered, I mean, it just seems like yesterday that Meta was rallying for whatever was 17 straight days, hitting highs in February, 700 and change, and then boom, $200 to the downside. But God, bring back those days. Those days were so nice. All right, so that's kind of the overall market. Now, just some individual names. And I've said on the watch list yesterday morning, and then again today. It just feels like the GLP-1 space is ready to catch fire again. So this morning, GPCR opened strong, and then it just rallied out of the gate. By 10 o'clock, it was over 28, up. I guess 9%. Was it 9%? Where do I have my? Why don't I have this up on my? Oh, because I was putting this other thing. Sorry about that. Um, by 11 o'clock, it was up near 28.16. Used the move to close some. My calls for over 100%. And I was actually looking to close some more before the end of the day. I might take a few more off and then maybe go further out. And I was looking at possibly like some higher strikes for buyout M&A, right? So, or M&A premium. Maybe as it keeps going higher, the premiums will remain elevated on the further out of the money strikes. Don't be surprised if I grab those, but what a monster since I got those calls. And similar that, so you start looking at 200-day moving average GPCR is 31.34. So I think gets over that, then it's going to need the rest of the GLP-1 space to really get going. But I think it's like they've been kickstarted. And also, I'll post a chart earlier, but I have it at the end. The biotech sector, green. I mean, it looks like it's trading on almost another market. Even today, in the midst of the sell-off, the IBB and the XPI were green or flat. So good signs. And then VKTX still over its 50-day moving average, 26.79. It hit a low of 27.06. So good sign there. Found a bottom and then bounced into the green in the morning, up 2% here. Again, similar. I'm looking for some more strikes. I'll be patient. No reason to rush or put excessive risk on this headline-driven environment where VKTX can be, there could be M&A, there could be news, or it could be down 10% tomorrow because there's some comment that comes out from the administration. So don't want to be in a spot where I have to rely on that, so I'll just continue to hold my freebie 32s. Plenty of time on those. Roku and some of the other names got hit at the open. I mean, Roku was down substantially, all the way down to 65. They hit 65 in the early morning. Bounce back was over 68 into the afternoon. It's just been chopping around here. I'll still hold the rest of my freebies. Again, it's going to be, almost a coin toss, but I'm convicted that they're going to have a strong beat and raise, right? I mean, that's the conviction. The wild card is how the market reacts. So if it reacts like last time, I think it trades into mid to high 80s. Call me crazy. Unfortunately, XYZ blocked. Hasn't given me a chance to get on my strikes. And that one, similar to Roku, taking on the chin here today. I'll probably have to hold my strikes into earnings and need a big move, right? I mean, that's wasn't the plan to begin with. I was hoping to get some out or all of them out before earnings with some profits. Not going to get that opportunity pending any crazy move or analyst upgrade or downgrade. Hopefully no downgrades. So I'll just continue to hold those. RH pretty much flat today. If there's some news between today, this afternoon, Thursday or Friday with China, I mean the thing's gonna be over $200. But unfortunately, my calls are pretty much done with pending any crazy update. With that being said, still going to probably do the same thing I did last week. Look for some strikes to play into next week. That's RH. And then TravelZoo. So disappointing. So right at the open, TravelZoo was like a big block came in, whacked it right down to 1450, gets back up into the 15s, and then just melts to the noon hour. It's been chopping around at the 14 handle ever since. I thought at first it started today was because of Priceline.com or booking earnings, but then booking was flat, and it's probably booking, knowing how it is, probably green right now. Yep, it's up 2% now. Booking was $4,600 in the early hours today. And it's at $5,400 move on booking. I remember when it used to be tradable, right? Now to trade earnings, you have to get strikes $1,000 out of the money and pay $2 with 2 days to expiration. So not a risk reward, but I thought for TravelZoo, that was the reason. I don't know. Now I'm like, is it the headlines? And some headlines, yesterday it looked like, and I posted it, that they were forecasting for over 100% revenue growth. But then I went on a conference call, 100% revenue. So 42 million on a guidance of 24 million or 22 million, where it's 100% revenue growth, which means the growth from last year. So I don't know, maybe some people saw that. So wait, we made a mistake. Either way, I still love the story here. So I'm going to be patient today. Tomorrow, I'll probably look for some strikes. Not the first time it's pulled back after earnings. And also, it has inside day, right? So it hasn't broken the highs or lows. So consolidation, 200-day moving average right there, 1536. So I'll be patient there. maybe wait till tomorrow. And then the other side of the tape, right? So unfortunately, like last week, Netflix. So I missed that move, even though I was looking at it, waited too long. Yesterday was Spotify. So disappointing. It was at 540. I'm like, oh, it's gonna bounce. And I looked at the premiums on the calls, the 600s for, or maybe it was the 590s. No, it was the 600s for like 70 cents. I passed. It was $60 out of money. Sure enough, those are like 12 bucks right now. And then Wingstop today, right? So if you look at a name that might have some concerns in a recession, Wingstop will be one of them. But they reported a beat and raise this morning. The stock was at like 240, and I was looking at like the 290s, and they were like 70 cents. I'm like, nah, can't go for those. Then I was looking at 300s, those were like 75 cents. They were actually almost flat earlier, just a little while ago. And I passed because it's tough to have conviction that something could happen in the next couple of days or the next week or two, and the name that you think is on a trajectory to recover losses on a great earnings report, it won't matter because the market tumbles. So it makes it difficult to trade some of these on a risk reward basis. Uh, but maybe I'll visit. And the other thing with Wingstop, they only have monthly strikes, so I would have to go into the May 16th, which is good because you got time, but also not good because the premiums are a little more expensive. And that's that. So it brings me to IBB, and I was talking about for a while getting some of these mega cap bio names for some inexpensive calls for bounces. And I keep looking at Regeneron all day today, and I was looking at like 610 calls, 620s. The spreads are so wide, illiquid market for the options. But gosh, I wish I got the 600s earlier today. I think they were a dollar. Here it is at 595. It's up almost 5%. Regeneron, it's been destroyed, right? Some of its drugs are coming off patent. It's billions of dollars in revenues. Doesn't mean that they're going to lose all that, but then the stock has been destroyed from $1,000. But then they just had earnings destroyed down to 550 yesterday, and then it's been bouncing because I think it was oversold. So some of the reason I'm like kicking myself. But again, another name, I'm a little on the fence of putting on more risk when it's almost like you're I don't know how to put it. I wouldn't call myself stupid, right? But to put on risk in an environment where things can change based on not an underlying issue with your stock or your company, but because someone tweets something or whatever, which is crazy, but that's the environment we're in. So it doesn't make sense to put the risk on. With that being said, so the SQQ calls, like I'm going to continue to use those. Small positions can turn big. What if we have a tumble? The SQQQs are great ways to do inexpensive hedges that if I call them the shit hit the fan hedge position, because if the shit hits the fan, those SQQs will pay off, right? And hopefully make profits and or offset call positions that are taken on the chin, right? That's the kind of the plan there. Uh, yeah, I think that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. Yeah, the fan. Let's have a great day. I'll be back. Rock and roll.